Kfar Aza, a symbol of both Israel's suffering and resilience. Suffering that U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee witnessed himself in December 2023, before he ever imagined becoming America's top diplomat in Israel.
This looks like the very area where we were, isn't it?
This is the exact area. How is it for you being back?
It's gut-wrenching, and it's not a memory that I really want to relive. And it took me, a long time to try to just get where I didn't have these just emotional moments that were going on weeks and months after having been here. And I'll never forget even the stench of death that was in the air.
Yeah, still.
And that was several weeks afterwards, and it was still there.
That was 2 years ago. Today, his visit has added significance.
And when you were here, you weren't a diplomat. You were a civilian. You were a strong supporter of Israel. But now you're back here as an ambassador. You carry the weight of U.S. policy. Does that change your perspective being back here now?
I don't know that it changes it. It deepens it. My perspective was pretty solid then. That's why I was here. But it certainly is a vivid reminder of what my responsibility is as an ambassador. I think coming back to this very, very place where I was 2 years ago, it's honestly, it's bringing back some memories I wished I didn't have. It's, I can't get over the fact that some really evil things happened here to people that did not deserve it.
That sense of trauma now shapes how Huckabee approaches his role as ambassador, turning memory into mission when it comes to U.S. policy in Israel.
I think most people would be shocked to find out how seamless the relationship is between the United States and Israel. And that's why I say it's not just an alliance, it's a partnership. What we share in intelligence gathering, what we share in military hardware and the application of it, but also what we share in our common values, being democracies, where we elect our leaders.
How would you say that these two U.S. administrations have worked with Israel post-October 7th?
They became what I considered to be schizophrenic in their policy. One day they were saying, there's not an ounce of daylight between us, we're ironclad in our commitment to Israel. The next day they were threatening to withhold the very arms that were necessary for Israel to eradicate Hamas from Gaza and to stop what had been happening. So that was very frustrating to watch.
You've seen it firsthand 2 years ago, and now looking back over the past 2 years, is there anything that Israel could have done differently?
Israel has tried it hard, and they've tried it soft, and they've tried it everything in between. I give them credit for going to the negotiating table time after time in ways most people have no idea how many deals they've laid on the table and said, here. And Hamas would say, yeah, let's look at that, and then would come and change the terms and then walk away. The reason that there hasn't been an end to this is one thing, Hamas.
You speak about the deals on the table, and Egypt and Qatar are also mediators, as well as Washington. How does Washington view its role compared to these two other mediators?
I think they appreciate the fact that Egypt has been involved and very effectively in so many ways. I think they've legitimately tried to bring an end to it. They put the pressure where it belongs. I'd like to think Qatar has. Times I wish they'd put a little more because they've continued to house some of these uncivilized savages in their country, and I think they never should have given them nice hotel rooms in Doha, and to sponsor Al Jazeera and to finance the Muslim Brotherhood. But they have been helpful at times, and I guess we should be grateful for what they have done, but I'd be a lot more grateful if they would do everything they could do.
2 years later, more and more Western countries are joining the calls to recognize a Palestinian state. The U.S.'s stance is still, now is not the right time. Do you think there is a right time to move forward with a Palestinian state?
Well, someone would have to define what the boundaries are going to be, who would lead it, what it looks like. The truth is, there was a Palestinian state. It's right over here. It's Gaza. We're hearing the explosions coming from there right now. It was a 100% Palestinian state. They ruled it. They had it. They voted themselves into power. Hamas in 2007 took control, and it was as close to the pure Palestinian state as we're going to see.
How has this relationship between Israel and the United States changed, shifted post-October 7th?
Well, the White House under President Trump has been completely supportive. There were rumors that somehow the Prime Minister and the President weren't getting along. That wasn't true. Or that the United States was pulling back in its support. That wasn't true. And when I was there in July and a part of a number of the meetings between the Prime Minister and the President, it became very obvious that not only was U.S. support for Israel stronger than ever, but the personal bond between these two leaders who made very risky but consequential decisions about Iran and made them together, that bond had never been tighter, closer, and more significant. I do get criticized sometimes because people say, you take Israel's side. Well, it's a very short line of people who even will defend Israel in the midst of this. There's a long line of critics. But here's why I take that position. Israel is our partner. I've said that repeatedly. It's our partner, which means that if you insult my partner, you're insulting me.
Reflecting on everything that's happened now over the past 2 years, when we were here 2 years ago, did you ever imagine that you would be coming back here now as the ambassador?
No. Nicole, when you and I were walking this very trail 2 years ago, I was comfortable living my life in the private sector, hosting television shows and running a bunch of businesses, and thought all my service in government was well in my past. Not many days after the election, the president called. He doesn't ask, he tells. And he told me I'd be coming to Israel as ambassador. And frankly, if he'd asked me to do anything else, I'd have said, no, sir, I don't want a federal job, not interested in getting back into government. But asking me to come here for this position was the one thing I could not say no to, because I've been here 52 years, 100 times. It was a place that I knew well, know well. My wife and I feel at home here, comfortable here. We're dedicated to the idea that Israel has the need to have security. I want every Israeli mother to be able to put their children in bed at night and not worry that a siren is going to cause them to rush them to the shelter at 2 in the morning. So it's the one thing that he would tell me to do that I have to say yes to. And I'm grateful that I have this incredible privilege to represent my country, the United States, my president, President Trump, to be here at such a time as this. Every morning I wake up and I read the president's Twitter account to see if I've been fired. He's notorious for letting people go on Twitter, so I always say, I look, and if I haven't been fired, I know I still have a job today, so get dressed and go do it.
What do you see for the future of Kfar Aza and of Israel, and how do you play a role into that future?
Nicole, you and I came here 2 years ago, and it was a very ugly place. And 2 years later, we come back, and it's still a pretty ugly place. I would love to come back with you in 2 years and walk this neighborhood, and it'd be a beautiful place. And instead of the sounds of shelling in the background from just a few hundred yards from here, I would love for it to be a place where we see little kids playing with their toys, oblivious to what happened here, what would then be 4 years ago.